Okay, it's your boy TheKaneologist. Hello team, we're back. Summary ranges. This is the new question. This is the name of the game. What are you doing if you're not looking at the summary of ranges? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so you're given a sorted array of sorted unique integer array nums, okay? Range AB, all integers from A to B. Oh my god, this is one of those sliding window questions. I don't know how to fucking do that. Okay, so return the smallest sorted list of ranges that covers all the numbers in the array exactly. Okay. Return the smallest sorted list of ranges that cover so return the small sorted list of ranges that cover all the numbers in the array exactly. That is, each element of nums is covered by exactly one of the ranges. There's no integer x such that x is one of the ranges, but not in nums. Each range AB in the list should be output as. Okay. If A is not equal to B, okay, so example 1, example 2, 0, 2, 2, 3, 4. So the ranges are 0, 2, 4, 5, 7. Summary ranges. Okay, so we don't want to list all the numbers. We just want a summary of the ranges that are valid in this array. That's what it's telling me. So we have to do that sliding window thing. I'm thinking of two while loops, right? So one is continually iterating, the other one is looking for ranges. So I'm gonna have a list output LST because I have to return a list, and I'm gonna return the list here. So now the next thing is I have to check the range. So while let's create a counter I equals 0. j equals I plus 1. So while what are the constraints? Num's length can be 0. Well, if it's 0, just return the list as is. Okay, so that's that. We solved the base case there. Okay, so there, we know for sure it's sorted at least. Then we want to check if it's in range or out of range. It's equal to 1, return. F string in Python. Okay, so then I'll return F. Boom. Return it as is. So that's another base case, 0 and 1. While if we want to check if it's in range, so if nums at I this means it's in range. It's in range. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, y. So 2 becomes 2, 2, 4. So at first I compare 0 to 2. So what I'm going to say is, if nums I equals nums j plus 1, I'm going to formulate the string here. So it's going to be nums This is a summary, right? If nums I is equal to if nums I plus 1, so the value equals nums j, that means we're in range still. Let's pull this out of the loop and continue. While nums I plus 1 equals nums j, continue. So for example, 2 plus 1 is 3 equals nums j. Okay. J plus 1. How do I do sliding window? Let's try sliding window. Sliding window in Python. Sliding window method. Technique. Problems which have a fixed variable size. Window is moved through a data structure, typically an array string. Solve problems officially based on thing. Okay. Or first, I could just get the windows. I could just get all the windows. So I go 2 to 2, 3, 4. How do I figure out 2, 3, 4? So all nums I plus 1 equals nums I. We'll call this temp LST. If the number is not in range, temp LST, temp list, I'm just gonna make this 1. So temp list, what's the time first? Let me figure this out. 18 minutes. I'm struggling right now. I don't know, it's late at night. I'm trying. Alright, so temp list, if it's not, so for example, if nums I plus 1 equals nums j, it's in range. If it's not in range, temp list dot append Okay, so temp list should already have nums I. Temp list should already have nums I, or I could create a temp. And then I should empty temps list after that. So temps list nums I, temp list dot append num I. So for example, this right? So first temps list is nums I, right? For example, if it's 0. 0 is not in range. So else append nums I, so 0 to 0. So it'll be 0, comma 0. Then I would empty so first it would be lst. I go to the main list dot append, right? lst dot append temp list. Then temp list clear the temp list. If it's not, so clear the temp list and then move on to the next. So it'll be I plus equals 1. So after I go 0, it should go to the next element. And then j should go to the next element. So 0 and 1. Then we bump j up to the next element. And if j doesn't meet the condition, then it cancels out. So that works. So the next thing I want to do is if temp list is what's called, so nums I plus 1 equals nums j. If it is, then I want to go if nums I plus 1 equals nums j, which is the one after it, that means it's in range. Okay, it's in range. That means I want to then look at the next element using I. I want to use the next element, so I want to go I so I want to add temp list. So first I want to add that element to temp list. Okay, this is where I'm messing up. 2, 3, 4. If it's in range, then I want to check if it keeps increasing by 1. If it keeps increasing by 1, if it keeps increasing by 1, for j-rent 0 to len nums. If so, this is from I. So wherever I is, so for example 0, because now we've stumbled upon a case where it's here. So wherever I is, it's here. So this is 1. And then j is the next one. If j so if the number at j is not to nums j minus 1, so the previous number, so its value, so if 3 is not equal to 2, so if nums 3 is not equal to this plus 1, then we're now out of range. So if we've hit 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and it hits 6, right, I want to go list dot append and then the same thing here, temp list dot append, so it'll be temp dot append this j minus 1 value, because I want the previous one before it fucks up, so it's no longer equal to things, so that's out of range. So I want the previous number, temp dot list nums, and it's already got nums I. Right, let me delete this because I want to always have num's I in there. I want to perpetually have a num's I in there. So the template dot append nums j minus 1. List dot append list dot append temp list. So now we have 2 elements, and then as usual, I plus equals 1, j plus equals 1, and then that has to go through the next element. So it'll then check if it's in range or not. So then temp lst equals the new nums I. To always figure out what's in range, and then I just append what's the new number. So either appends itself, which means it's not in range. For example, 0. It's not in range with the next element, so it's 0, 0. Then, or if it's 2, goes all the way to 4. Then it puts 6. Then I wait to see if that one. Then it does itself. Okay, so pretty much I have the logic here, and it looks to be sound. So once I have all my logic, I have to go through each item in list and so basically I have to create another list. Zero to length of list, right? So once I have LST, 0 to the length of LST. So for LSTI, it's going to be 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, because it's always going to be 2 elements like this. So for LST I, so basically if LSTI temp sum so I'm just gonna put ranges. If LSDI at 0 equals it's not equal to LST I at 1, I'll put oh no, I could just add it directly into final. I don't have to create new ranges. I just go through the temp list again. So I can take this out. So if LSTI is 0 is not equal to this, like here, final dot append f string, and how did I do the f string here? So it's just be f string. And then I can go LST I0 and then LST I1. That's my range. And now that gets added, and then else and then final dot append it's also still going to be an f string because it's got to be dynamic. LST, it could be I0 or 1. That's the final list, which is here. So this is list, and then I'm putting the strings at the final list. I should call it str final, string final, but we're not going to be overly thing. Then I want to return final. So basically, if we walk through line by line, what's happening is first, if I have 0 elements in my numbers, return an empty list. If I have 1 element, return the 1 number as it is. Once we get to 2 elements on, we could have a range or we could not have a range. Right? Like if it's 0, 1, or if it's 1, 2, for example. We'll have to spit out 1 arrow 2, right? If it's in range. If it's 1, 3, then we have to go 1, comma 3, 2 strings. Right, so what I'm doing here is I created two pointers, and one of the pointers, so for example, is going to be anchored to the start of where I'm measuring from. Right, so num's I. So it's going to be anchored. This is my starting point. Then I want to just keep sliding the window if there's a range. If not, just return the point as is. So what I'm doing is, while J is the one that's going to slide, for J in range I, len nums, right? So it's going to go up until the length of numbers. The range could go all the way to the end, right? So if nums J, so the value of J is not equal to J minus 1 plus 1, because it's got to be a difference of 1 to be in range. So the previous number plus 1 should equal the next number, right? So if nums J is not equal to this number plus 1, we're now out of range. So we want to get the very last element. So if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, I want to get where 4 is at, and then just append that 4 to my temp list, which is here. So the anchor, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I want to take the 4, add them. So I have 0 and 4. I add this pair to my final list. So I add to list, then list.append for my temp list. Temp list is where I just create my pairs from an anchor. It slides, create the pair, boom, put it in list. Right? Then I increment the counters to where they should be. Now that I think about it, if I go 1, 2, 3, I should equal J. I should equal j. And then j is going to be plus 1. So I equals j, because we bring it up till the point of j, and then j is plus 1. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, I is now equal to j, because we're adding j minus 1. So 4, but j is at 6, I is now at 6. And then j is at 8. Then it goes into the while loop condition if it's less than num. So that way, if it's at the end, we don't continue. Let's see. Else, so basically, if it's in range, I want to add that pair. If it's not in range, if it's just a standalone number like 0 and 2, just add the number as it is. So 2 pairs, 0, 0. That way we know it's not itself. Then we get one loop just to go through each of these pairs. So now we have these pairs here, 0, 2, 4, 5, 7, 7, right? So for example, these are all in range. 7, 7's a standalone number, right? So we just write it as its own. So if it's in a range, we add the arrow to the string. If it's not, we just add the number on its own. Then we return that final list. Invalid syntax. Return f string. Where is it? Invalid syntax. Return f nums. Where am I returning f nums? What am I doing wrong? F string. Oh, you can append the string. Okay, so val.append f string returned val. Let's try that. What the hell? Why can't I do dynamic strings? Okay, let's just put it on ChatGPT. It's like 1 a.m. right now, and it's past half an hour, so you guys are probably like bored of this shit. Oh, it's 44 minutes. All right. But you guys saw my logic, right? Like, the logic is pretty sound from what I think. All I care about is getting my logic correct, because as long as I have my logic correct, I can always come back to an answer. If the logic's not correct, then something's wrong, right? This is just a syntactical sugar thing, right? So I'm gonna go here first. Let's get the instructions. Boom. My code. And then this is going to teach me what is off with my code. Right? You guys are on this journey to learn with me. After we do like hundreds of these, I'm going to be a beast. Obviously. And I'm showing you guys that if you do this consistently, you're just going to get good. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter how shit you are now. Right? If you keep doing them, and you keep getting feedback, you keep closing feedback loops, you keep bridging your understanding, you're gonna get good. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I minus 1 plus 1, so it's using the logic I used. Fix my solution the way, even the way I wrote it. Syntax errors improve the overall flow. Update version of your code. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so you can append the F string. You can append the F string. Final. Okay, so while it's here, and then we have a while and an embedded while. So if start, so embedded while is end nums I. Start nums I. What the hell? While I plus 1 is less than length of numbers, okay. And nums I plus 1 equals nums I plus 1. Okay, so this keeps the logic I have here, over here, which is this, nums j equals j minus 1. This one's doing plus 1. So it's the same logic. Move j to the end of the current range. Yes, okay, I plus 1. Yep, so we create an anchor point, start, which is going to be our start. Oh, and it appends each one as we go on. If start equals end, F start. Okay, so I kind of had a pretty similar logic going on. What they do here is they take if you have 0, return 0, or they create a counter the way I did, but they don't create I and j. So you can just do this. They're creating an anchor point here, so they're instead doing this. So it's a while. I is less than len nums, the way we have it here. And close this whiteboard. J is less than len nums, so I'll do that here. I. We can get rid of this, because it gets covered as itself. Boom. Final. And they have final, so we have this. So I is less than nums, I plus 1 j, so they go I plus 1 to go to j. So I plus 1 equals j, which was plus 1. So this is I plus 1. So the number ahead should equal to the current number plus 1. Yes. So if that's in range, so they do an embedded while loop. So the same way I do an embedded for loop, they're going to do an embedded while loop. So it's going to be nums I. So this could be while this. Then I can get rid of this. What this is doing is it's also checking to see if I plus 1 is less than len nums. And this. So now we have our anchor point. So start equals nums I, right? And they combine everything into one loop. So it's going to take this, it's going to get rid of this for loop, boom. So start equals end. It's just saying, so if this is equal to this, so this is going while I is this, I plus 1. Keep incrementing I. And I. End equals nums I. And it's going to keep incrementing I to find the current range. And then after, if it doesn't satisfy these conditions, so for example 0, 1, 0, 2 I mean, it doesn't satisfy these conditions, we skip, so start equals end. That's why you can go start equals end, and you just swap these. Final dot append list thing, so final f start, which is list I0. So you can just go f start, and then now that we have start end, we can do this. Start end. And then I plus 1 to go to the next. So it does it all in one check. So if it's not there, boom. So if it's 0, boom. So now this will push it to the next because it doesn't go to this condition. That means start equals end. And then we have to increment by 1. So then we go 2. Now the new start checks all the conditions. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4. Boom, start is not equal to end, so it's this range. Now we go boom, plus 1, 6, and then 6, 8. So 6 is the new start. Doesn't go to these conditions because 8 is greater than a plus 1. So the value of 6. So this should be, so nums I plus 1 is 7. The next element should be 7. But it's 8, so it doesn't work out. So this doesn't happen. So start equals end, so 6 and 6, so you append 6. So that's why you get this range 0, 2 to 4, 6, 8 to 9, because you follow the range. 2 to 4 is a range, and then these two are standalone values. So if I run this, this should work. Final dot append f start. Final dot append. Final dot append f start. What am I not writing correctly? F start. You have to import something. F start. Final dot append f thing start. So f. Invalid syntax. Adjusted for Python 2. Okay, what's the solution for Python 2? Oh, okay, so all you have to do is specify what you have here, and then the bracket swaps whatever is in this dot format. So start to end, start end is 2 values. Format takes start, swaps with the brackets. So this is, for example, this is my string. This is what's dynamic about my string. Dot format, boom, start. And I can delete this because it doesn't let you put strings in there like that. So then I want to then map, it basically maps it to what it is. So all you have to do here is this. Delete this, delete this, delete this. Now you have a string of this, then you go format, and you add your start, comma, end. So it takes this value, puts in here, takes this value, puts in here. This should fix the issue. Wow, that's actually crazy. That is actually crazy. I'm actually wondering if I went back to my original solution and I just used these because it didn't accept my f-string inputs, would it work? But this is a way cleaner. And we're already pretty much an hour in, so beats 10% of people. So we're 56 minutes in. I know, it's late at night. I'm trying, all right? But hey, at least I can explain this to you. I know what's going on. And I literally walked you through it step by step. So it's not like I'm incapable of comprehending this solution. So there's the value we got from start to end. They use start end. I was using like additions to a list with an anchor point. It's still using an anchor point here. It's just doing it on the iteration itself rather than the way I did it, which is like anchor point, boom, add it, reset. This is a lot simpler and easier to follow. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel. TheKaneologist out.